What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about if Resident Evil Village's DLC will be shown/announced at the Game Awards 2021. So this is my first video in a series of videos talking about the Game Awards. I'd love to do this pretty much every single year for Game Awards, E3, things like this. And so really quickly, before I get too far in, I want you guys to be a big part of this as well. I'm going to be making quite a few videos talking about games that have good shots at being in the Game Awards, or maybe don't have good shots at being in the Game Awards, and talk about the likelihood of them being there. The Game Awards is about a month or so away, I believe December 9th, and so again, I wanted to start with Village's DLC, and you guys, if you have any suggestions, things you want me to talk about, you know, what's the odds of this game or that game, let me know in the comments, and let's just jump in to this one. So I wanted to choose this because, well, number one, it's been something I've wanted to talk about just in a normal video anyway, so I thought, well, you know, Game Awards, and I also think it has a solid shot. I do. I think one thing that I do think we need to kind of iron out, which is a big part of the video as well, is what kind of DLC is this? Now, normally, and you could have said, well, Alex, that's a stupid question. Well, at the time they had announced it, and even at the time that Village had come out, you know, I made tons of videos. We talked about the DLC, and we had a lot of fun. I think people really enjoyed it. And I would have said, because we did say, you know, story DLC, something meaty, something an hour, 2 hours, you know, something that's DLC. Now, the thing is, ever since then, obviously it's been quiet, right? They announced around E3 time that, you know, they're going to be working on the DLC, but they had just started it. You know, it was just in the making, so don't expect it anytime soon. And I would honestly think the game, or the DLC, probably comes out in the first half of next year. And so Game Awards makes a lot of sense to announce it. The thing that I guess I'm throwing in to kind of discredit it, or make it a little less likely, is over the past, I think it was like a week or two ago, depending on when you guys see this video, a little while ago, they had, not necessarily like let it slip, but somewhere between confirmation and not, said that the DLC is actually going to be free DLC. Now, the confusing thing is there's a couple different avenues, right? Is it free DLC and then story DLC? Is the story DLC free? Or did we just kind of hype this up in our heads and out loud on YouTube when we probably shouldn't have, because we like overhyped it? Those are the three avenues, and honestly, a couple of them are scary because, you know, look, I'm not one that says like, oh, you're not allowed to expect or want things. I know that's like a big taboo thing online where it's like, oh, you want something? Well, you're not allowed to do that as a fan and as somebody who purchases these things. No, if you know, I'm not, you know, for that whatsoever. Ultimately, it's like, I want more Village, and if and they, when they announced the DLC and what we had with the DLC for 7, I think we were all under the assumption that we were going to get some sort of, you know, again, story DLC, which is what I want. So I don't want the DLC to be like an additional difficulty mode or cosmetics or, you know, something like that, which honestly I think is more of a 50-50 shot now than ever before, which is, again, scary, okay? At the same time, maybe, and this is Capcom, so they're kind of iffy, maybe because they had so much success, you know, 7 did so well, 2 did so well, remake, 3 did so well, remake, Village is doing really, really good, better than 7 did at the same time. You know, maybe they say, well, let's just give the story DLC for free. Let's give something back to the fans for free. Now, maybe that's wishful thinking, and honestly, I don't even expect it to be free. It's just something that, you know, maybe can happen now. But what's the point of all this, right? I've spent 3.5 minutes just babbling your ears off, but the thing is, to appear at the Game Awards, I think there needs to be a little bit of substance. So if we're talking just difficulty modes or something that's, you know, it's not actually meaty, or it's not even I wouldn't even argue it's DLC, okay? But you could argue that, like challenge. Well, they do have kind of challenge mode. Whatever they come up with. I think if it's going to be at the Game Awards, it needs to be the story DLC. So look, I would say honestly, like a month or two ago, I would have said, if somebody asked me, which nobody did, but if they did, you know, is the game or could the DLC be shown at the Game Awards? I think it's a really good shot. Again, only because, you know, they started it May, June. It probably comes out, you know, maybe a year or so after, maybe a little bit less, because you got to imagine, like, you don't want them to spend forever on a couple-hour DLC when they need to get moving on, you know, the next Resident Evil game. So I don't want it to take up like 2-3 years of development. So let's just be conservative, but also just imagine that it comes out, you know, around the same time maybe even Village did this year, so the DLC comes out next year, right? I think announcing it at the Game Awards in December to cap off what was a great year that they had this year, you know, because it's gonna, I think it will be nominated for some game awards, whether it's game of the year or horror. Obviously, it would be there. Maybe first person shooter. What I don't really know if it would win that one, but I think it's going to be nominated, so it'll be there. So what better way to celebrate what you did and what we know is coming than to announce the DLC? So I would put that at like a very high. If somebody asked me, now again, these are just my opinions, and I've been wrong many times before. I've also been right, but I've been wrong, and that's an important thing to say out loud. So I want it. I think it makes a lot of sense, but again, the kicker is, if it's not what we thought it was or think it is right now, and I think that the odds drop substantially. If it's a very small, like inconsequential, thing, I just don't think it belongs, hopefully, at the Game Awards. I don't want them to take the time to do something like that. So, I would put it more like a 50-50 shot right now. But yet again, if it is going to be, I would say this. I put it at a 50-50 now because I'm really not sold anymore on it being like a meaty DLC, right? If somebody can come out there and say, no, Alex, there's all this evidence, because I haven't seen it, but maybe somebody has. There's all this evidence, it's going to be, a couple hour, like an actual big, DLC. Then I'll think that it's a lot more likely to be at the Game Awards. And again, even if it's not the Game Awards, I think we need to see it. Well, not need. Need, again, comes off wrong to the YouTube and Twitter, angry community that you're, again, not allowed to want things or ask for things online. Comes across wrong. But I do think, like, it would be nice to see something from this DLC within the next couple months, because I think it needs to come out relatively soon. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. If you want to support me in any of my other social media, I have a Twitter, I have a second channel. We also have YouTube memberships and Patreon if you guys want to support us there. Links for all of them are in the description. And one final time, again, this is the first of many Game Award videos. I will be covering Game Awards. I'll actually be co-streaming it. So got a lot of plans for November, into December, covering this entire thing. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all on the next video.